Hello, my name is Joanne Bramer, and together with Christy Foster and Skylar Thornton, we will be discussing children's health and doing some promotion teaching for children. The age-specific group we will be targeting is children from age 4 to 12, which is basically elementary school aged. We are all registered nurses that are working to finish our bachelor's degree in nursing, and this is our clinical project for our Nursing 449 class, Community Health Nursing. Lots of research has been done on what influences our health. The U.S. Office of Disease Prevention and Health Promotion has reported through Healthy People 2020 National Health Objectives on many topics with information, goals, and strategies to promote health along with community resources to meet these goals. One important objective is called social determinants of health. Social determinants of health are those things in your homes, schools, and communities that can either negatively or positively affect the health of a person. Here you can see listed the 5 main topics addressed in Healthy People 2020 under the topic of social determinants of health. This slide presentation will focus on children's health and the neighborhood and built environment. So how does the built environment relate to children? Children are completely dependent on their parents, teachers, and community to provide all necessities of life. 3 main social determinants of health in a child's environment are a child's nutrition, physical activity, and daily environmental condition. All 3 of these topics will affect health either in a positive or negative way. This is a chart from the Mount Sinai Journal of Medicine in an article called Contributions of Built Environment to Childhood Obesity. This chart, published in 2010, is showing the increase in research on the subject of built environments and health. The research is increasing because the results of the research link significantly the relationship between the built environment with specific and overall health. Built environment is a relatively new concept. According to Healthy People 2020, a built environment is the part of one's environment that is built or developed. A built environment would include such things as buildings, sidewalks, bike lanes, roads, parks, and accessibility to destinations or resources. I have included this slide to show the increasing number of evidence-based research that is being completed. The results of these studies are showing significant effects that the built environment has on health behaviors, physical activity, patterns of both children's and adults, social networks, and access to resources. According to the USDA, more than 20% of children in the U.S. are negatively affected by what is called food insecurity, or not having appropriate access to healthy food. Those most at risk for imbalanced nutrition for both not enough food or too much food with not enough nutrients are listed here. Most of these risk factors can be considered environmental conditions. For example, lower income families will live in lower income housing. Living further from the grocery stores or farmers markets is an environmental issue, and so is living close to fast food restaurants. It is well known that imbalanced nutrition, both not eating enough or eating too much, is linked to many health problems. Physical developmental delays, such as lower birth weights and lower childhood growth rates, are often a result of imbalanced nutrition. Academic development delays can also be from imbalanced nutrition, as the brain is not getting the right kind of nutrition or not enough of the right kind of nutrition. Childhood obesity is a huge problem in the U.S. and often leads to health problems into adulthood. Here you can see listed some chronic illnesses like diabetes, high blood pressure, heart disease, asthma, and many others that are often a result of imbalanced nutrition. It shouldn't be a surprise that childhood obesity rates in the U.S. are very high, so I'm going to focus my teaching on healthy eating habits in the built environment, and I will also list some resources to help promote wellness for children. Daily food intake for children should include the right portion of fruits, vegetables, grains, protein, and dairy while limiting foods high in fats and sugar. An excellent tool for remembering what kinds of food and how much food children should eat is ChooseMyPlate.gov, a website that provides guidelines for each age group of children, making teaching kids how to limit salt and choose appropriate portion sizes easier than ever. ChooseMyPlate.gov recommends providing fruits like raisins, pears, plums, watermelons, berries, applesauce, and 100% fruit juices. It also encourages adding more dark green, red, and orange vegetables both at lunch and dinner time. Beans and peas are also a great vegetable choice. Encouraging children to make half of their plate fruits and vegetables is a great tool for helping them eat appropriate portion sizes. Whole grains such as whole wheat bread, oatmeal, whole wheat tortillas, brown rice, and popcorn should make up at least half of all grains eaten. For proteins, provide different things like fish, shellfish, beans, and peas. Other tasty protein choices are bean burritos, hummus, veggie chili, fish tacos, shrimp stir-fry, or grilled salmon. Encourage calcium-rich dairy such as fat-free or low-fat milk, yogurt, cheese in small amounts. Try to limit access to foods with added sugars or solid fats. Things like candy, cookies, cake, chips, ice cream, sodas, punch, lemonade, hot dogs, and bacon can be eaten, but should not be every day. Eating is fueling the body for physical activity and to help children grow, so let's give them the best fuel. Remember that part of getting and keeping a healthy weight is daily exercise. Kids can accomplish this through play. Encourage both healthy eating and healthy play. A key component is making small changes to create healthier eating style. Think of each change as a personal win on your path to living healthier. Each little change that is made is a change you make to build your healthy eating style. Find little victories that fit into your lifestyle as you choose apples, strawberries, or popcorn for a snack instead of fruit snacks, candy, soda, or fast food items. Start reading food labels. Pay attention to the serving size, especially how many servings there are in a food package. Then ask yourself, how many servings am I consuming? Half of a serving, a full serving, or more? Make half of your plate fruits and vegetables. Focus on whole fruits, varying your veggies. Make half of your grains whole grains. Move to low-fat and fat-free dairy. It's important to support healthy eating for everyone. Create settings where healthy choices are available and affordable to you and others in your community. Professionals, policymakers, partners, industry, family, and individuals can help others in their journey to make healthy eating part of their lives. In order to make healthy changes in eating habits, you have to have access to healthy foods. If available, seek out places to shop within walking distances that have healthy food choices. Make it an outing and let your children pick out vegetables and fruits they will eat. If there are no farmers markets, then a local grocery store with fresh produce is the next best choice. For those who live in an environment with limited healthy food choices, or for those that have limited financial resources to purchase healthy foods, the Food and Nutrition Services has several programs available that provide food to children, including the National School Lunch Program, the School Breakfast Program, the Child and Adult Care Food Program, the Summer Food Service Program, the Fresh Fruit and Vegetable Program, and the Special Milk Program. Administered by state agencies, each of these programs helps fight hunger and obesity by reimbursing organizations such as schools, child care centers, and after-school programs for providing healthy meals to children. Local community health centers and meal kitchens provide food during the school year and summer as well. Remember, even though there may be some social determinants to health, it is possible to find ways to improve nutritional health in children. Understanding that interventions to impact a population's health must occur on multiple levels is the focus of Healthy People 2020, as evidenced by their addition of the social determinants of health as a topic of focus. Traditional interventions target only an individual's risk, whereas an ecological approach targets an entire population shift in health, thus creating a new social norm that promotes and supports health. Social determinants of health are the circumstances in which people are born, grow up, live, work, age, and the systems put in place to deal with illness. These factors are influenced by politics, economics, and social policies. Social determinants include both social and physical components. The built environment, or how our communities are designed, include land use, retail mix, street quality, and connectivity of sidewalks. Housing and green space are all physical components of social determinants. As mentioned earlier, the link between the built environment and childhood obesity has been recognized for over 20 years. However, the study and focus on improving both has gained momentum in recent years. Poor nutrition is a large component of childhood obesity. However, inactivity is equally as damaging and plays a large part. Childhood obesity has tripled in the last 3 decades, with an average increasing to 16% from 5% in 1976. For those living in low socioeconomic circumstances, the availability of physical spaces that promote activity are often limited, unsafe, or unreachable. It is essential that efforts to decrease childhood obesity include both education on physical activity requirements, strategies to creatively meet those requirements, and modifications in the built environments in which they live. Many health organizations have called for the built environmental changes to create conditions for safe and convenient physical activity for all children, especially for those that suffer from racial disparities, such as the African American and Hispanic populations. The World Health Organization, National Partnership for Action and Evaluation of Health Disparities, National Prevention and Health Promotion Strategy, and the Robert Wood Foundation are a few of the leading programs working to change, make policy, and improve the built environment. Changes occur on 2 levels, macroscale and microscale. Macroscale features call for a change in how communities are set up and built. Macroscale features include such things as mixed land use, street connectivity, residential density, and proximity to recreational facilities, whereas microscale features include pedestrian and bicycle lanes, intersection characteristics, and aesthetics. Microscale features have been linked directly to physical activity. Fortunately, modifications to microscale features are less cost prohibitive and less time consuming than changes or implementations of those on the macroscale category. The statistics reflected in this infograph demonstrate the positive changes that occur when modifications are made to the built environment in our communities. Most of these changes are on the microscale level and thus not cost prohibitive to the communities in which they are. Sidewalks and crosswalks were improved in several states, increasing their use and children walking to school by 37%. After bike lanes were added and improved in New Orleans, the number of cyclists increased to 225%. It has been shown that people who live near recreational facilities are 46% more likely to participate in outdoor fitness than those who do not. As we make efforts to change our communities and improve the walkability and participatability, we will see an improvement in physical activity and a decrease in childhood obesity. Now that we understand the impact of the built environment on physical activity, we can look at ways to help parents, empower their children to become more active, thus decreasing the prevalence of childhood obesity and the comorbid health problems that often accompany it. It is essential that healthy lifestyle habits that include proper nutrition and physical activity begin early in childhood, as children begin to develop independent dietary and exercise habits during these early years. The American Heart Association recommends that children get 60 minutes of aerobic exercise daily. For many parents, the ability to meet this goal may seem daunting and perhaps impossible. However, it is important to remember that this level of activity may take time to work up to. The first step is to get our children moving and then figure out how to keep them moving. As demonstrated in the kids' activity pyramid, the first thing we need to do is limit the time that our children are sitting, watching TV, playing computers, or video games. We need to get them up and moving. For those living in areas where there is limited green space, limited outdoor space, this may seem a challenge. As we look at the activity pyramid and be creative in our approach to children's physical activities, we can see that there's ways to help our children get moving. Do we have them help with chores? Are we taking stairs instead of elevators when possible? Are we parking further out in the parking lot of our apartment building and walking further to get in? It's important that we remind our children that there's ways to be active. Are we encouraging them to play with their pets? This can be done in our living rooms. At times when we cannot get outside or outside area is not accessible, are we playing games or videos that encourage activity, such as dancing, bowling, or golf are all things that you can do with video games. We can also play music and dance as a family. As our children see us interacting and being active, they will also. This is not something that our children can do alone, but must have participation from the entire family and their peers. Other ideas to help our children get moving is have them interact in groups. This can just be for fun and play, or they can actually join teams where they learn skills and how to work with others. There's also free play. What are our kids' interests? Let's help them find the things they like to do. One of the favorite things that my grandkids enjoy are playing hide and seek, jumping rope, and playing tag. Family play is also important. What are things you like to do as a family? Do you explore different areas? Do you like to go for bike rides? And again, for those who do not have accessible to those outside areas, what are you doing within the four walls of your own home that promote activity? Turn off the TV and have an interactive game or dance. As we work together to promote activity within our children and work to establish policies that positively influence social and economic conditions, and those that support changes in an individual behavior, we can improve health for large numbers of children in ways that we can be sustained over time, improving the conditions in which we live, learn, work, and play, and the quality of our relationships will create a healthier population, society, and workforce for our children to grow up in.
In this section, we will discuss housing and environmental conditions and how those conditions can affect children. The housing condition in which a child is raised has a significant impact in their physical lives. Children are more prone to environmental health hazards, including industrial and agricultural chemicals, than an adult, especially due to the fact that they have an increased respiratory rate. This increased rate allows children to inhale more of these chemicals than their bodies can fight off. The children are exposed to more air, which increases the risk of being exposed to air pollutants. This is also important to keep in mind because while infants' lungs are developing, they are particularly susceptible to environmental toxins. Chemicals are often found around the outside of many homes in the form of pesticides. Pesticide exposure in children is linked to asthma, headaches, birth defects, cancer, childhood leukemia, pesticide exposures resulted in visits to a health care facility in 2008. One of the main goals that Healthy People has is to reduce the number of pesticide exposures that results in visits to healthcare facilities to below 9,819. It may be difficult to reach that number considering 85 to 95% of the nation's total families are at risk of exposing their children to pesticides, since this is the amount of people that use and store pesticides in or around their homes and personal environment.
Currently, there are both state and national programs that target the issue of pesticides. At a local level, most cities with a larger population have a Department of Health and Welfare that offers clinics to educate parents on how to prevent their children on exposure to hazardous chemicals. When the state of Idaho is used as an example, the Idaho Department of Health and Welfare has an office located directly in Boise, Idaho, that helps protect members in the community from these issues. In addition, at a state level, the Idaho State Department of Agriculture is involved as it regulates the registration, sale, distribution, use, storage, and disposal of pesticides under the authority of the state laws and the rules governing them. The role of the compliance section is to ensure that safe and proper use of pesticides through education and regulation for protection of the people, animals, wildlife, and environment of the state of Idaho. They also have their own investigators that will go out and investigate any suspected or actual misuse of pesticides.
In addition to the local and state level of assistance, the American Association of Poison Control Centers is helping on a national level. The Poison Control has a hotline that is available for anyone to call 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. The main goal of this company is to prevent and treat poisonous exposures. The Poison Control Center acts as a good resource for families seeking free advice about potential or actual environmental health hazards within their home or in the community, and or if there is an emergency involving an unknown substance and the parent needs to know how to specifically handle the situation.
If we were to be teaching this class to an actual group of parents in a community center, a church setting, or a school setting, we would advertise and hand out utilizing this brochure. The next two slides shows both sides of our brochures that talks about the environmental concerns, the built environment, how to assist parents, and also tips and information to remind them about the things we taught. Thank you for viewing our presentation. We would appreciate your feedback. If you could respond and list 3 things you have learned, 2 new things you will do to promote increased health in your child, and any other comments you feel would be beneficial, we would appreciate it. Again, thank you for your time.